Network. Sad what is happening right now, because this is a complication of things. This is the complication of things, which it is sad to say that this has been, it was coming to this particular point, and it was going to, in a way, erupt in one particular moment, where you have a Biden administration who it is incentivizing the world to come in an irregular way through the world. And now all of a sudden, in November, you guys know what it's coming in the United States of America. And now all of a sudden they want to put the example of the world to do things right, to do things regular, to do things with law and order. It is so hypocritical. And before I start with our broadcast to bring you information, I want to ask right now a question. The Global Compact of Migration, it is the number one root of this problem around the continent and in the world. I want to ask a question. Do you guys see the United Nations right now in the ports of entry helping in one way? Do you guys see the United Nations right now in the port of entry helping in one way? Do you guys see them? Do you guys see all these NGOs that they have always pandered to the humanitarian side? This is what I have been saying since I walked with more than 10 caravans, traveled to south of the country of Mexico and Central America. And I have said the United Nations is nowhere to be seen, but they're the ones that they are sponging, promoting, and letting the world know that in irregular migration, it is okay. And it is not okay. And a lot of people from Venezuela are being denied right now access into the United States because they're entering in an irregular fashion. And I'm sorry. I said it in Spanish. I have been doing multiple videos in Spanish in our account on Instagram. And a lot of them are saying, why? Why now? Why they should have told us with time that we are not going to be allowed. Nobody's denying you that you're not going to be allowed. They're telling you where to do it, how to do it, the regular way. Entering to a river, entering to a mountain, entering to a jungle, it is not okay. It is not regular. Using a travel advisor, so-called coyote, it is not okay. Thanks to all these travel advisors and traffickers and all these coyotes that they were promoting the irregular and illegal entry. I hate to use that word, but I am going to use it. The illegal entry into the United States. Thanks to all of these leftist organizations pandering and promoting this, entering through a river, entering to a jungle, and entering through a desert in Arizona, entering through a desert in Texas late at night with a coyote. Thanks to that promotion, a lot of these organized crime groups started operating from Central and South America, connecting all the dots and covering a travel package to access into the United States of America. It is unbelievable that was promoted in TikTok, in Instagram, in Facebook, in all platforms, even public figures, musicians, comedians, famous comedians, being a part of a travel package incentivizing an irregular migration for people to risk their lives. As you guys have seen, a lot of people have lost their lives. A lot of migrants have lost their loved ones, have lost their children's. A lot of people have lost all. And now, all of a sudden, the Biden administration, after all the damage that they have done, after all the collateral damage that they have done, now they want to be for law and order, to put the example. After all the collateral damage, I will show you what it is collateral damage in immigration right now due to this policy. There's thousands waiting in the Darien Gap in Panama. There's thousands waiting in Colombia. There's hundreds of thousands waiting in Costa Rica. There's thousands waiting in Panama. There's thousands waiting in Honduras, Nicaragua, Guatemala. There's thousands waiting in Mexico. There's thousands moving up to Mexico. There's thousands that they are waiting at the borders with the United States and Mexico. And there are now numbers being returned back to Mexico, which they already entered the United States. They created chaos. They created a catastrophe of immigration. And they play with human beings as they are numbers. It looks like a copy paste of Barack Obama back in his administration. As you know, Barack Obama is the head deporter in chief. Nobody has deported more Latinos in history by Barack Obama. And it is exactly what is happening right now. A lot of multiple flights. I will show the statistic right now of how many flights they have been deporting or returning back from the United States all the way to the country of Guatemala. And I want to ask the American citizens, who do you think is paying for those private flights and that private airline to return migrants from Guatemala all the way to their capital? Do you know how many flights? And I will put this statistic later on. 401 flights from January till now. Who's paying for that? Who? The number one incentivizer and responsible for all of this, it is the Biden administration. It is not Mexico. Why Mexico? Mexico, it is a country separate to the Biden administration. If you will not be incentivizing an irregular migration, people will not be coming in at masses. But you're incentivizing that, and you're letting the world look at that. What do you think they're going to do? Now Mexico needs to do your dirty work? In that case, let us Mexico tell Guatemala, hey, dude, you need to stop them. From Guatemala, tell Nicaragua, hey, you need to stop them. From Nicaragua, tell Honduras, hey, you need to stop them. And we need to turn to the United States and say, yes, master. No. You have to be, the Biden administration needs to take responsibility for the multiple people that they have died and trying to intent to arrive to the border of the United States. And ultimately, the United Nations. Yesterday, I will read the statement from the Department of Homeland Security that it was given out in the statements of Alejandro Mayorkas and how and which ones are qualifying. Why this happened. Why all of a sudden the Biden administration decided to do this. I am not authorized to say this word, but something, you guys know, a process that is happening in November in the United States of America. Because of that process, they needed to do something. 1. 2, there's a lot of trafficking of humans, and it is inevitable. It is like no other in history. They're making multi-million dollars out of the vulnerability of people. And these are the organized crime. These are the cartel. These are criminal groups that they're operating from South America and Central America. It is a reality. It is not a lie. They needed to put an example, for God's sake. How is this going to be stopped? To migrate, in my eyes, it is a right. But in those rights, you have laws. And those laws need to be obeyed, and they need to be respected. This is the statement before I put a video right here on our screen. I will put a video right here on our screen in a few seconds. Before I put it on, this was a caravan. They left yesterday in the morning from Tapachula, the border that I have visited multiple times. Around 1,000 migrants, they left the south border of Tapachula, walking, the majority of them Venezuelans. And this is a statement from Alejandro Mayorkas. Before I go, share the video on Facebook, share the video on Twitter, share the video on Getter. We're live at Facebook, we're live at Twitter, we're live at Getter. So share the video. We're live at Getter. I want to say hello to everybody at Getter. Share the video at Getter. Thank you so much for the people that are watching. So this is a statement of Alejandro Mayorkas right here. It says, these were his words. These is quote unquote his words. These actions make clear that there is a lawful and orderly way for Venezuelans. And why target Venezuelan people? That's fall right there. Why you're targeting Venezuelan people? I know that Venezuelan people, it is an exodus, a humanitarian exodus from a dictatorship or from a dictatorship, whatever you want to call it, from Nicolás Maduro and a communist political party. They're fleeing all over the world. They're saying that the number from 2015 till now of Venezuelans spread all over the world are 8 million. But why target only Venezuelans? So you're not letting the population. This is what they have done horribly, the Biden administration. They have not educated the world correctly on immigration. They have failed on that. If you're going to make a statement, and if you're saying that nobody is going to be entering a non-port of entry, and if you enter irregularly through a non-port of entry, you're going to be returned back, make a statement clearly for the immigrants, the migration, the migrants. But you're targeting a specific entity, and it looks, in a way, denigrating. They have been completely incompetent to talk and to have the sensibility and the ways to talk about this current sensitive situation. These are statements. Says these actions make clear that there is a lawful and orderly way for Venezuelans to enter the United States. What? Cubans are not supposed to be obeying that? Mexicans are not supposed to be obeying that? Honduras, Nicaragua, all over the world not supposed to be obeying that. It's only Venezuelans. This is why I'm saying that this is so wrong. This is the way that you misinform. It's saying for Venezuelans to enter the United States in lawful entry, it is the only way. Those who attempt to cross the southern border of the United States illegally, those are words that he's using, illegally, will be returned to Mexico and will be ineligible for this process in the future. Those who follow the lawful process will have the opportunity to travel safely to the United States and become eligible to work here. Then he says, DHS will closely monitor in implementation of this process and Mexico's independent and parallel efforts and may consider expanding it in the future. To be eligible, they say this: have a supporter in the United States who will provide financial and other support. A supporter is a sponsor. Pass rigorous biometrics in biographic national security and public safety screening and vetting. Do you remember when Donald Trump wanted to do biometrics on migrants that they were entering, how he was signalized? Do you guys remember that? And you were calling him fearmonger, that he was creating a hysteria. Do you remember? So Alejandro Mayorkas and the Biden administration are fearmongers, right? They're creating hysteria, right? For all these leftist tabloids, Daily Beast, Democracy Now! What are you going to say now? Where's Alexandria Ocasio, by the way, crying at the fence? Where are all these Democrats crying and helping the migrants and the most vulnerable? Where are you? Hypocrites. It says right here, pass rigorous biometrics and biographic national security and public safety screening and vetting, which means you need to report handprints, fingerprints, everything, so they will know who you are, and if you are clear to enter the United States of America, due to also that there have been 70 plus terrorists coming into the southern border. There's a lot of vulnerable cases of asylum, as I have said so, but there's a lot of infiltrated individuals, which mean harm. Complete and other public health requirements. I will say it once. Complete the vaccinations and other public health requirements. That's another requirement for you to enter. Venezuelans who are ineligible, if they say, and this is where you're not eligible, have been ordered to remove from the United States in the previous 5 years. If you have been deported from the previous 5 years, you're not eligible to enter. There's a lot of cases like that. I have seen them, that they have tried multiple times to enter, and they're trying, and they're not eligible. Now you're not going to be eligible. Have crossed without authorizations between the ports of entry after the date of the announcement. Date of the announcement is 12th of October. If you already crossed after that in an irregular non-port of entry, which means where the border is open, which means where the border wall is non-existent, you will be returned back. Have irregularly entered Mexico or Panama after the date of the announcement, or are a permanent resident or a dual national of any other country of Venezuela, or currently hold a refugee status in any other country, which means that possibly the American government is working hand in hand with the Mexican government and ultimately with the Panama government due to the fact of the Darien Gap. And I will show you some videos that they were just sent to me by our cameraman, Manuel Jesus, who he has gathered videos of how the Darien Gap looks right now, how Necoclí, the port of entry before entering the jungle, how it looks right now, and it is packed, people. There's speculated more than 10,000 migrants that they are inside the jungle and trying to enter the Darien Gap, coming in. All those migrants that are walking right now through the Darien Gap, they don't have signal. There's no signal inside there's no internet signal. As soon as they get out and they enter Costa Rica or Panama, they're going to realize, holy moly, what the hell just happened? Nobody's denying access. They're just telling you where to do it and how to do it. And now the last one, it says, have not completed the vaccinations and other public health requirements. Also, if you have already solicited refugee in another country, you are not eligible to be registering for ultimately for refugee in the United States of America. Thank you so much. Give it a like to this video, share the video, like the video, share the video. Buy me a coffee is on the bottom link. If you guys like to contribute to our independent reporting and travel fund, it is much needed. We are going to be traveling next week, possibly next week, in the next 10 to 15 days. We are going to be traveling soon again to the south border to show you the reality of what this catastrophe that these leftist governments have created. Yesterday in the morning, a caravan left from the south border of Tapachula, a border that I have gone there multiple times. And ultimately, the border has multiple migrants that they have been, basically waiting for the process of immigration in the south border of Tapachula. Waiting for the process. And this is the sad thing about this, that now they know that they are going to have to face the other consequence, that is the arrival into in the borders, in the north borders with the United States of America, that is going to be really difficult if they're going to be let in or not. And due to that factor, they have already gave an opinion to say, you know what, we don't have no other option. no other option but to go. We already halfway. We don't have nowhere else to go, so we don't have no other option to go. And this is the 1,000 migrant caravan that it was leaving today in the morning around 10, yesterday in the morning around, well, today around 2 o'clock in the morning, they started walking, and ultimately they started, migrating, walking through the same pathways that we have walked for kilometers and kilometers to get the correct paperwork in Mexico so they can migrate to the north borders. So they have been asked, what do you think about, this that is happening? And they say, we're going to go either way. And we're going to go over there and let's see if he changes his mind. Let's see if he changes his heart. So I want to thank to everybody that is joining in, the supporters. Thank you so much for joining in. Supporters on Facebook and supporters on all platforms. Thank you so much for joining in. So this is what has been happening right now. A caravan at around 1,000. The majority of them are for migrants from Venezuela. The ones that they are directing this statement and the ones that they ultimately are targeting right now, the Department of Homeland Security, the ones that they're targeting. Now, let's look of another video right here. Let me just get this other video right here for all of you guys. This other video of an interview of what they think and what do they believe that is going to happen. And I will translate as soon as we are right now, broadcasting this. So let me just translate right here for all of you. Let me put the video right here on the bottom so you guys can see. This was the caravan that left in the morning, around 1,000 migrants from Venezuela. What do you think about the borders that they have been closed in the United States? What do you think about that? And this is what he responded. Is the audio good? Check audio. Is the audio good? Before I start translating, I want to know if the audio is good so we can continue our broadcast. Thank you so much. Like the video, share the video, like the video. We're live at Getter. I want to say hello to everybody at Getter. We're live at Twitter also. And we are live at Facebook also. So like the video, share the video, and hopefully the audio is good so we can keep translating. So the Manuel de Jesus, our collaborator and correspondent for our Oscar Blue platform and also for Real America's Voice News, he's a camera guy. He asked the migrant himself, what do you think about the situation right now as the United States has taken over and said, the Biden administration has said the border are closed. What do you think about that? And this is what he said.
Señores, de verdad, mire, acaban de hacer algo, de verdad, una catástrofe.
Ladies and gentlemen, what the Biden administration, well, they have done, referencing to the Biden administration, they have said, he says, you have created a catastrophe right now.
Primero tenían que, por lo lógico, tenían que poner una prórroga.
At least you could have said to us with a few days of advance that we were not going to be allowed.
Anticipada, no
anticipating.
Avisaron, fue totalmente, agarraron y hicieron de hoy para hoy, no le participaron.
And they just said, and they didn't say nothing. They just didn't anticipate us. And just, they picked up one day and they say no.
El pueblo, nosotros somos pueblo, somos.
We are people we are the people. We are for the people.
Somos venezolanos, somos trabajadores.
We are people from Venezuela. We are hard workers.
Madres, somos humanos.
There's kids, there's mothers. We are human beings.
Queremos de verdad que el gobierno de los Estados Unidos.
We really want that the government of the United States of America.
Que por favor, presidente Biden.
That please, President Biden,
que por favor nos dé una prórroga.
Please give us a little time lapse. Give us a little chance to get there and let us in, please.
Estamos en México.
We are in Mexico.
No tenemos de verdad cómo irnos hacia Venezuela.
We don't have resources to go back to Venezuela. We don't have resources and we don't have money to go back.
Queremos que por favor acoja a todos nosotros los venezolanos acá.
Please, we're asking you if you can take over all the Venezuelans that we are stuck over here in Mexico
Y nos dé la oportunidad de entrar a Norteamérica.
and give us the opportunity to enter the United States of America.
Queremos trabajar para un buen futuro
We want to work for a better future for our families
para toda Venezuela,
and for all Venezuela also,
para llevarle dinero a nosotras, a la familia.
so we can get money, so we can return or help with that money that we make working to our families in Venezuela and our countrymen.
Que se encuentran allá en Venezuela. Eso es lo que queremos. Queremos es trabajar.
The only thing that we want is to work. We don't want nothing else.
No queremos robar.
We don't want to steal.
Queremos nada de delincuencia.
We don't want to act delinquent. We don't want no violence.
No queremos pedir. No
We don't want to ask for nothing. The only thing that we're asking is let us in.
queremos estar en la calle. No queremos es trabajar y
The only thing that we want is to work.
ser un trabajador más para satisfacer nuestras necesidades.
And we want to work, we want to be another worker in the United States to satisfy our necessities
Como todo ser humano
like every human being,
que nos encontramos aquí hoy.
like every human being that we find ourselves today right here.
Buenas noches, Venezuela. Queremos así sea 15, 20 días lo que
Please give us 15, 20 days just to get
nos
there.
encontremos acá, lo que nos encontramos acá en México.
For us that we are, stranded over here in Mexico.
Queremos una prórroga.
At least
César
give us some
Venezolano,
at least give us some time.
queremos una prórroga en que sea para llegar hasta allá.
And please give us a little bit of time just to get over there. That is one of the migrants that basically, well, as you heard him right there, basically he's explaining that from one day to another, they did this, and they are saying that it was, unfair in a way that they just did this without letting them know, without giving them, a notification or a notice that they were going to do this. And they're asking for a 15 to 20 day plea for them to get to the northern borders into the United States of America. But this is the thing. This is where we're failing. This is where the United Nations is at fault, because they're the ones that created this global compact, and they did not educate the migrant population of the world on how to do a correct and legal and documented and peaceful migration, like your document says. Entering to a non-port of entry, it is not a regular migration. Entering through a river at Eagle Pass, through a river at all these places where they're connecting to Texas, it is not regular. Entering to the desert, entering to parts that it's not a port of entry. That is not a correct way of migration. Nobody told them that. And it has become something so normal that the coyote and the trafficker has become a what, people? A resource. Has become a resource of transportation. Forget about the lawyers. Forget about a legal process. Call this guy and call this guy. He will get me over there. And all this has been created by incentivizing an irregular migration. The lies. Remember the lies? Now, I want to ask a question. You have a lot of DACA recipients in the United States of America. This was a question that was done by my manager. What is going to happen? It is a really legitimate question, because it is something in the near future. You have a lot of unaccompanied minors entering the United States of America. These DACA recipients, they don't have nothing, no documents, nothing. They live out of paying for a permit. What is going to happen with these new kids, unaccompanied minors, that they are in the United States of America? Will they get a paper one day, a legal documentation to be in the United States of America, or will they become the new generation of DACA recipients? I'm saying this because Joe Biden lied about the 11 million that he was going to give them legal paperwork. Has that happened? I'm asking to all the migrant population that, unfortunately, a lot of them, they a lot of them, they don't know about, about what is going on. But I want to ask you, what do you think that is going to, has that happened? Has Joe Biden provided 11 million permits like he said? And I'm not saying this. It was said on the debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. It was set right there. Joe Biden approached the microphone and said, we are going to give 11 million people their legal paperwork. We are going to give them 11 million. He said there's no trafficking of children. And also, I want migrants to search the border. He said it. I didn't say it. He said it. Those are his words. Now, I want to show this video right here on screen about what has been happening in terms to this was the caravan that is moving. Now, in terms to today, there was a group of migrants. This is a video from Esteban Martinez, a journalist from Matamoros. This group of migrants was returned back from the United States, and even they entered before the 12th of October. The statement says that after the 12th of October, these migrants were returned to Mexico, and the decree or the statement was it implements, and it says right there that after the 12th of October. So inevitably, the migrants feel that they violated their humanitarian rights because they have already entered before the 12th of October, and they have been returned back into Mexico, and they are waiting right now. This video, it is from Esteban Martinez. Give a quick shout out to all Mexican journalists right now that they're doing a magnificent job, man. They're doing a magnificent job right now. And Alden Cabello, that he is also over there, our colleague and friend, Alden Cabello. This is a video right here of how they are looking right now as the border, and how many times this bridge has been closed. The bridge has been closed because these are Mexican authorities. All the way to the back, you will see American authorities. So the American port of entry into the part of Matamoros has been closed, affecting Mexican citizens and affecting all migrants to enter legally and irregularly into the United States of America. You will see migrants that they are sitting down right there, and they say, we are not going to move. We're going to stay right here until they give us a solution. And the solution is to enter again the United States of America, because the decree or the policy or the statement from the Department of Homeland Security said that it was going to be effective after the 12th of October. And they entered on the 10th of October. So in a way, they said, why is it is applicable to us? We were already in the United States of America. And then on the 12th, you release it. And then it says right there that after the 12th, it will be effective. Why is it affecting us? So they return all a huge part, a vast majority of gentlemen right here into Mexico, which they are now protesting and staying on the bridge and saying to the American authorities, let us in. We were already in. Why you took us out? And it was not even on the 12th of October. It was on the 10th of October that we entered. So this is actual video right here of the journalist Esteban Martinez, which he is located in Matamoros. And apparently right now, this is the current situation in Matamoros with the migrants that they were returned back. Now, there's a lot of complications to this. A lot of them. A lot of complications towards this. And if you guys want to follow Esteban Martinez, go to his page and follow him. There's a lot of complications about this. And I will say complication number one. Complication number one. Number one is the damage has already been done. This is why I was talking about collateral damage. The collateral damage has already been done. You open that window, and I have, man, I don't want to go there, man. So I'm going to go on a rant. But you have already incentivized the organized crime to work. This is the Biden administration. What do you think the organized crime are going to say if one day you wake up and say, no more? what do you think they're going to do? They're going to say, oh, you know what? You're right. No more. Let me respect you. No, they're not. They're going to continue because it's already a funneling business. The asylum and refugee, it is the most lucrative, and ultimately, not only that, the asylum and refugee has become the most lucrative business in the borders of every country in the continent of America. Has become extremely lucrative. And when you have opened that window so big, you have opened that window that ultimately now that window, it is continuing to be open. And now you want to close it. What do you think is going to happen? I'm just asking you a question. What do you think is going to happen? I want to put this video on the screen of currently the situation in the Darien Gap. This is a current situation in the Darien Gap. And you will know by this video that I'm showing you. This video that I'm showing you right now on screen. It will tell you ultimately that what mess they have created. And these are a lot of people, a lot of migrants that they're stranded in the Darien Gap. These are people that they're stranded in the Darien Gap. These are people that are stranded in the port before entering the Darien Gap, that is Colombia Necoclí. There are more than 10,000 people stranded in the middle, and it is all the Biden administration responsible, with the United Nations and with these NGOs that they're always pandering and promoting irregular migration. What do you think is going to happen with this? And how do you think all the other border towns, all the other countries are going to do? Now that you're going to start returning, it looks like Barack Obama 2.0. And I have been saying this for the longest time. Barack Obama has become the deporter-in-chief of the world. He has deported more than 5 million Latinos in his administration. He admitted by the hundreds of thousands, and he deported by the millions. A complete humanitarian business. Private planes, deportations. By land, private buses, deportations. He created private facilities that they will not call prisons. They will call private facilities that they were attached with the immigrational system of the United States of America. And who was collaborator with all these private prisons? Barack Obama. They were making hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars out of the vulnerability of people. It looks like we are all the way going over there again. Why? Because they're going to start returning, they're going to close it, and then make a lot of business returning to their countries, their native countries, or the other countries also. Give them that obligation to be funded. It's a lot of money. And I will show you a statistic right here after we finish this video of how many flights they have been deporting from the United States all the way to Guatemala. You are going to be surprised of how many flights and where's the money coming out of that? Where's the money coming out of to pay for those private companies and private flights? What do you think? Now, these are people in the Darien Gap. Look at this. This is Panama. This is Panama right now. Stranded. Without no signal. This is a video that it was just sent. Let me return it again. Look at this. And this is the current situation in the Darien Gap. These are people that they've already been incentivized to come in a regular fashion This is the port of Necoclí. And the guy is saying right here on this video, there's a family right here. They already heard that the port of entry in the United States is closed, so they already returned and they don't want to risk it. There's other ones that they're going to leave. This is exactly the port of Necoclí to enter the jungle. You can see right there, he says there's the sea to go around the jungle. You see hundreds of people, hundreds, that they are waiting to go on this travesty. An incentivization of an irregular migration, and they take advantage of the most vulnerable people. It is a humanitarian business. And now the coyotes are not named coyotes. They're named travel organizers, travel advisors, travel agency worker. Unbelievable. This is what this administration has done, and now they want to fix it. When they have created this humongous catastrophe and chaos, and what they are going to do, they're going to come out and say, oh, you know what, we fixed it. We fixed what the past administration did. This is because of the past policies of the past administration, like they have always justified themselves. Karen Jean-Pierre, House Speaker, saying, oh, this is because of Trump. Kamala Harris, this is because of Trump. Biden, this is because of Trump. AOC, this is because of Trump. Rashida Tlaib, because of Trump. Veronica Escobar, because of Trump. Ilhan Omar, because of Trump. It's unbelievable. And it is unbelievable, the new language. Remember, linguistics is going to be a problem, and it is a problem right now. You're calling a trafficker a travel advisor. They call them a travel advisor. That is the new terminology for these people. Unbelievable. Incredible. They're not travel advisors. They're doing harm to you, and you're putting yourself in harm's way. They're not telling you do not come, like Kamala Harris said to the Guatemala people. Do not come 3 times. She said it. I didn't say it. Kamala said it 3 times. Do not come. And ultimately, people started saying, no, we're going to change their mind. We're going to change their hearts. They have used the vulnerability of people. And now you got this crisis. Look at this. Look at this massive amount of people, man, in the Darien, fleeing. What are you going to do now? What do you think what do you think Mexico is going to do? For God's sake, I don't know where we're going to get funds. If the shelters in Tijuana and my city where I live at, they're overpacked, they're overflowed. In Ciudad Juarez, they're overflowed. In a lot of places, you have overpacked shelters. I want to show you a statistic before I move on. And this is extremely important for everybody to understand. Why am I going to show this statistic? Because it's extremely important for you to understand. Really important. And this statistic, it will actually give you a perimeter and an idea on who is paying for all of this. And these are the statistics that they were given out by the Institute National Immigration of Guatemala, which right here, it says that they have deported, they have stopped in the month between September and October, more than 31 countries. It's right there. More than 31 countries. So the statement actually by Alejandro Mayorkas, it is incorrect. He should have said to all the migrant population who is entering irregularly into the United States of America, this is the new process, which they would have done since Biden came to office. But no, they wanted to be the humanitarians of the world. More than 31 countries have entered the port of Guatemala with Honduras in Agua Caliente. Now, let me bring you another image right here. And this is what it says right here. I'm not making this up. This was a statement from the Guatemala government. This is a statement from the Guatemala government. Look what it says right here. It says, Guatemala, as the 10th of October, 3 to 4 or 5 days ago, we have suspended the flights of deportations or returnees from the United States to Guatemala because of Julia phenomenon. But they say on the bottom, it is highlighted, and it is really important to know, and for everybody to know, that since January till now, more than 401 flights have been coming out of the United States of America into Guatemala and into Mexico, which the number, it escalates for 45,489 Guatemala returnees. Out of the 45,489, 12,074 have been returned back from flying to the United States to the south border of Mexico, and from there to Guatemala. And directly from the United States all the way to Guatemala, 33,415. The statement says right there, who do you think is paying for all of these flights? Where do you think this money's coming out of from? Where? 401 flights. Is there a need to be having this kind of business now? As Barack Obama did in his time, having a humongous agreement with international investors of private prisons or private facilities for deportees or returnees into their country. It is again happening, what we have said multiple times. Now, is this the first time that the Biden administration has done this? For people that they were saying Joe Biden is the savior of the world, he is the best that ever happened in our lives. He's the best. Nobody else. Nobody else is the best. Do you guys remember January 12th and who ended the special immigration program and policy for Cubans? Do you guys remember that? Let me just put that on the screen for people to realize, since this is not the first time that the Biden administration or the Democrats have done this, that they have profited out of the suffering of people. There you have it. Obama administration ends special immigration program policy for Cubans. And it says right here on the bottom, article given out by Reuters by Patricia Singerly. Says Washington, the Obama administration on Thursday, this is years ago, repealed a measure granting automatic residency to virtually every Cuban who arrived in the United States, whether or not they had visas, ending a long-standing exception to U.S. immigration policy. The end of the wet foot, dry foot policy, which allowed any Cuban who reached the United States soil to stay but return any picked up sea, is effective immediately. Cuban officials have sought the change for years. It is not the first time that they have done it. It is not the first time. They have done it multiple times. Multiple times they have done it. And the problem is that there's a lack of information. Extreme lack of information and misinformation about saying the reality. The reality of all of this. Now, before I end this show, we're going on 53 minutes. I want to ask a question. Supposedly, you have the organizations that they are defenders of humanitarian rights. Say hello to everybody at Getter. How's everybody at Getter, man? Got a black screen on Getter. How's everybody at Getter? Thank you so much for joining in on Getter. God bless every single one of you at Getter, man. Thank you so much to our Getter audience. Let me just ask a question. Do you guys remember the famous photo op of Alexandria Ocasio, which, by the way, she got her butt kicked the other day by two young men that they used to support her at a town hall meeting, where she got, schooled by two young men, a Hispanic and a Black American, or two Americans, let's say that. She got schooled like no other. But let me just tell you something important for everybody to know. You guys remember that famous photo op of Alexandria Ocasio at El Paso Center, crying and doing this at a fence in El Paso? Thank you so much, Princess, for the coffees. Buy me a coffee's on the bottom link. If you guys like to contribute to our independent reporting and travel fund, buy me a coffee's on the bottom link. Do you know who was saying that borders are not important? Veronica Escobar in El Paso. Border security is not #1 priority. Rashida Tlaib coming to Tijuana. I don't know what the hell you were doing over here, but coming to Tijuana and yelling, the destruction of this and la, la, la. Ilhan Omar advocating for irregular migration. Where are all these people right now? Asking a question. Not only that, where is the United Nations right now? Where are you, Soros? Antonio Guterres? Where are you right now? Where are you? It is so important that everybody understands that these global organizations, they're pushing a catastrophe of migration, and they are hiding right now, like they have always done. Always they have done it. Always. The United Nations hiding right now, not saying anything, not defending what they created. If I go right now to that port of entry, and I wish that I was there, I will ask them, what do you think about the United Nations now that they're not even here helping you? What is your opinion on them right now? Can you give me an opinion on them? Can you actually elaborate how you feel about these people that they're telling you, come, but they are not here to defend you right now? What do you think about that? Unbelievable. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Voice News and the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Thank you so much for joining in. God bless you all. How's everybody doing? It's nice to say hello to you guys and to basically talk to you guys for a little bit. And it is a reality. It is sad what is happening right now, but the people from Venezuela are highlighted on this statement, which I believe that is denigrating and in a way insulting to the people of Venezuela. Why? Because you're generalizing that everybody in Venezuela is coming. That is a huge insult and a horrible way to put it out the document or a statement. It shows the unprofessionalism of this current administration on how to handle a sensitive situation of this high intensity. In addition to that, you don't even give an explanation. You don't have the audacity to say, this is because we created this. This is because this, and that, and we're going to handle this, or we're going to help these people to just, la. It is a total disaster what they created, and now they want to fix it from one day to another. It's like you have a car that you knew that the motor it is consistently having a leak. And then one day to another, it breaks down and you want to fix it the other day. It is as simple as that. Why don't you come out and say on a statement, you're signalizing one population, and it is horrible to do that. It is inhuman to do that. Do you know actually how they are going to be targeted? How Venezuelan people are going to be targeted right now in Central and South America? Do you know how bad that looks? But you do not care about they being targeted. Instead of saying all migrants, you say only Venezuelan people. It looks bad, denigrating. And I don't like to use this word because I'm not like that. You guys know that I'm not like that. But who's the real fear monger now? Who's the really conspiracy theorist now? Who's the one that is creating hysteria at the border? Who's the fascist? And most importantly, I don't like to use this word, but your statement directing it is also extremely racist. Instead of addressing the immigration situation in general, you target only one specific entity. You don't have the capacity and the capabilities to put out a statement when you're the head chief of the Department of Homeland Security to say to all migrant population, this is a statement for all of you. This is the way to come in. This is the process that you have to do. Instead, you target one specific population that a lot of Venezuelans, they are extremely hurt. And these are professionals that they live in Spain, that they live in Germany, that they live in other countries, that they know other languages, that they're really well prepared individuals. But you targeted all those people. You targeted one country. One country you targeted completely. And it sounds denigrating and racist. I'm sorry, it is what it is. You targeted that country. And it is bad because there's a lot of good people coming. And in a regular fashion, yes, they haven't been educated to do it in exactly the way that it needs to be because of you pushing and incentivizing an open border agenda. And these are the consequences of your hypocrisy. Look at yourself in the mirror. Also, Mallorcas, just for you to know, and I'm not trying to remember you who you are, but I will tell you a little bit of the story of let me put the charger right here on the computer. I forgot to do that. Let me tell you a story. To not go this long, an hour and 2 minutes into this show. I don't want to rant so much on this guy. But I don't know if you remember Alejandro Mayorkas, his story. His story is that he was a Cuban migrant, that he arrived through the sea on a boat to the United States of America. And he entered the United States of America under asylum and refugee claims. Not too long ago, the Cuban people were having a rising against communism, a rising against the left in their country, a rising against the injustice that they're living in their own country because they cannot even fish. They're in their own sea. And they were escaping. And as soon as Mayorkas heard that they're his own people, they were escaping Cuba, he gave out a statement saying, to every Cuban that is coming on a boat, you will not be accepted. Wow. Unbelievable. And now he does exactly the same thing. It is so unfair to target one specific population because you just targeted a whole country. There's a lot of people from Venezuela that they're really good. There hundreds of thousands of people that they're really good people, and they're spread all over the world because of this communist regime dictatorship of Nicolás Maduro. And they're completely upset with you because you gave out a really denigrated statement referencing to the whole country. You know that there's other Venezuelans that they don't want to come to the United States, that they live in Spain, they live in all parts of Europe, they live in South America. They're happy over there. But you are a powerful country, the leader of the freedom, you come out with a statement targeting one specific population of immigration. And it looks completely racist, denigrating against all people. Sad. But no, fearmonger, conspiracy theorists, creating hysteria at the border. When they're the fearmongers, they are the conspiracy theorists. They are the ones that they're creating hysteria. They are the ones that they are racist. They're the ones that they're xenophobic, homophobic, transphobic, pronoun-phobic. They're the ones. God bless you all, man. We're going to go on in our day. We are going to be traveling soon to bring you more open eye video. An eye-opener of this. We're going to be live possibly at the War Room with Mr. Stephen K. Bannon and also with other platforms and Real America's Voice News, our network, the voice of the people. And ultimately, we will be bringing you guys reality and truth of the news of everything that is happening in Central and South American borders. It's nice to say hello to every single one of you on the live stream. An hour and 6 minutes into this video. It has been a pleasure. Follow all our platforms. Specifically, follow our backup channel at YouTube. It's called Oscar L. Blue Independent Media. Follow it. Give it a like to that video. Also, you can go to our YouTube channel, Oscar Blue Ramirez. Go to our Facebook, Oscar L. Blue. Go to our YouTube, Oscar Blue Ramirez. Twitter, Oscar L. Blue. Rumble, I'm going to start using Rumble. So Oscar L. Blue and Rumble. Oscar Blue Ramirez, Instagram, Oscar L. Blue Team. Media Team, Oscar Blue Media Team, and Instagram also. Getter Oscar L. Blue, as we are live at Getter. You know what? I never talk to the people at Getter, man. What am I doing? Thank you so much, everybody at Getter. Latina Girl, thank you so much. Mac Roscope, thank you so much. Pamela, thank you so much. Sylvia, thank you so much. Truther, USA. Miss Mary Yates, thank you so much. Dina Shore, a.k.a. Kim. Thank you so much. Say hello to everybody at Getter, at the War Room Posse. The War Room Posse. I got a lot of viewers from the War Room Posse, man. Greatest viewers, greatest supporters, the War Room Posse. Thank you so much. Thank you. You can follow me at all platforms. Follow my partner, Real Anthony Widow. Follow my colleague and friend, Ben Berquam, Frontline America with Ben Berquam. Real America's Voice News. Download the app. It is free. Also, go to Ms. Wendy Bell Radio Network. You can download the app as Wendy Bell Radio Network. Man, so intelligent. Wendy Bell is one of the most brightest journalists in the United States of America. If it's not, she's the brightest. It's extremely intelligent. She knows every single paragraph to the T, man. With Mr. Brock at the Wendy Bell Radio Network. God bless you all. Stay safe. And like we always say, people, peace and love. Because always your country's first. Stay safe, everybody. Thank you so much.